out your dead.
Hello! Welcome, everybody. Hey, Alex, how's it going?
It's going.
What's up?
Just everything.
Cool. Yeah. Doing this thing. Anyway, I think most of the seats are filled, but there may be a couple. I think I see a couple of loose seats. If you have a loose seat next to you, please welcome people, whether or not you know them, into your personal space. You can also sit on the floor. The poets do not need all this space, no matter what they tell you. So we've had a couple of schedule sort of rearrangements. Theo, who was going to read, caught the flu that everyone seems to be catching. Not one of the better recent trends. But we should be getting Larry Christ to fill in for him anytime. However, we are going to start with Arlene Kin. Woo! 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 Come on, give it up. I like the idea of clapping before the poet's bio is read, because that way the clapping is not dependent on the bio. Although, her book, What Have You Done to Our Ears to Make Us Hear Echoes, came out recently, and she will be reading, I think, at least one piece from it. You can inquire with her how you can purchase that book. And at February 8th, she is reading at the Richard Hugo House's Lit series, which is kind of a big deal. So we feel very fortunate to have her here, and very fortunate to be here in Couth, Buzzard. Please, applaud for Arlene Kim. Yeah!
For leggings, those are hot. Just for you. We appreciate it. Superhero.
I'm tempted to sit down, but I'm so short. I think that would make me invisible. Okay. Hi. Thank you so much for coming. I super appreciate it. And let me just check on something. You still want me to do a little more than less? Do you still need that?
Yeah, a little more is good.
Okay.
We like a little more.
Just checking on that. Let me do this. First thing I'll read maybe like a couple from the book. So yeah, super long title. Here it is. And my sister did the cover art, so I'm just jazzed about that. Here we go. This one, I'm going to ask for a little audience participation, so don't be scared. And warm up your vocal cords. No. Okay. The title is Answers to the Proust Questionnaire. I'm going to ask a few questions that are actually on the Proust Questionnaire, and I just shout out your answers, and it doesn't matter if you overlap. I'm just kind of curious to know. So here we go. First of all, epigraph: the wonderful Wallace Stevens. Coldly the wind fell upon them in many majesties of sound. Question: what faults do you most indulge?
Drinking.
All of the above.
Question: what do you most admire in a man?
Trustworthiness.
Size.
Question: what faults? I'm sorry. Question: what do you most admire in a woman?
Size.
Question: favorite virtue?
Honesty.
Question: favorite name?
Emily.
Question: favorite bird?
Eagle.
I love you guys. Question: the greatest of misfortunes?
Silence.
Falling into a volcano.
Question: your principal defect?
Indecision.
Question: your present state of mind?
Happy.
Question: lowest depth of misery?
Depression.
Monday.
Yes.
George Bush.
Answer: fear. A dark blue fly fell, milk fried, debuzzed, mummified, sanitized, swatted, titching, octopi, then parched in paper, baked in pie, a piper's lie. Beauty unpied, beauty unpied, beauty. Unpied beauty unpied. Standardized, pig-styed, pigeon-shied, wing-tied, and tied to mother's tide. Dragged along a gutter side, tongue-bitten ride, all time to bide. Curbed and cowed, deer, moused, nailed, taxonomied, dummied, ginger stuffed and stuck in batter, stuck in fence, lungs hung, ambered, and devowed, droned an Aeschylean wail, ideas loused, buttered, bitten, spat from mouth, from mattress, from garden, from chancel maw, toad spew, not jewels, spat from wood, from whale, from veins, word skeins, thought that flight, that sky, whitewashed, threshed, Lexus drowned, sunk face first, by classic torso, legs paled, flailed, in order, pin to line to dry. They that had left the flame-freaked sun to seek a sun of fuller fire. What to do? What to do? I feel free to, applaud whenever I do. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, so I've been trying to do a lot of collaborations lately, and they're really hard. They're a lot harder than I thought. I mean, I don't know. It's not really organic to just have a bunch of people who are used to creating on their own come together and create, because despite what they say, they're usually bossier than they think. So, or more disorganized. It's very chaotic. To that end, I want to say that the most successful collaboration I've ever done was with a computer. Okay, and this is the result of that collaboration. What the program did was essentially take the text that I put in it, which was all my own, and then spit it back to me in the patterns that it recognized from my own words. So it never inserted any new words. It only ever used the words that I put in there, but it showed me what I was doing, in essence. Okay, the path come apart. The principle is expressed in Latin as the children submerge themselves in the yard, burrow into a broken bone. By this she meant the ripping of you at night. You took the small scars between girl and woman, with enough hair to resemble a wing of sorts. There are high winds, temptations spanning a room, an apple on the current. Without flight, we grow horns and sing in our nightclothes, hair slicked like an eye. We have been here before. Wake up. It's evening in the egg's hollow heart. Time to gather names, my peach daughter. Night sluices from the spindles, the fires. Sister, first knead the dumplings. Crumble hunger into the huddle of night. Now, sleep, sister. You are the oldest, so be good. Me, I lapse. I lapse. I lapse. I lapse. Mother tells me. A person walks into 1,000 blackbirds. When he wakes, he drinks the night, the work of poison. Brother, let us rest here in the sun's eyes. It seems you are always about to meet an old story. Mother in the woods, rubbing the world, lit by a stone slit with crumbs, crumbs spilling from her mouth, preaching and dirty, the wild with the good. The rabbit's song, steadily gathering, throat strings caught in mourning. We gather in the seed. Soon, soon you are a ripe star cut from night. Marry me in the apple. Fall in a tear. Sever the sun by starving brightness. Meet me in the echo. There is all the path still left to sow. What have you done to our ears to make us hear echoes? All right. And then I thought I would read 3 pieces. As you all are lit crawling tonight, I thought as an ode to you, I would read 3 pieces that are about finding your way, crawling, losing things, finding things again, maybe. This next one, I wish you could see it, because all 3 of these next ones, by the way, are totally brand new. So, yeah, tolerance is welcome. The next one, it was my little experiment. I wrote the piece initially, and then I decided that I was going to try to slam 7 poems into one. So if it were long, probably I don't know if you can see it from there, but it's 3 printed 8.5 by 11 pages. But what I did was there are 7 columns throughout the whole thing, and each column makes its own individual poem that is sort of a little piece of what I'm trying to say, but then the whole thing reads as one poem. So that's how that works. Okay. I lost my pair 7 times in one night. I lost my pair while looking for the motherfucking commons. This map I've been following, bullshit. Some scout. If the deer are glad, they get the hunger, theft, fear of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, the flailing in love with yourself, with the way you've lit up the road, your romance and failure, conducted in public. Youth always seems to find its way to the fire first. Hot dogging on one foot, in its magpie mouth, the nick and flash of poached genius. Such desultory beauty. No idea this will come to so many dead ends of fiction. Not a terribly rational way to work. It's hard to explain. I tell them it's like driving a car at night. You never see further than your headlights, but yes, we can make the whole trip that way. Just don't expect to find everything you filched, pocketed, still yours when you make it. By the way, that the quote about the headlights, it's like driving a car at night. You never see further than your headlights, but you can make the whole trip that way, is filched from an interview with E.L. Doctorow. So those are his words. This next one I wrote after seeing a research paper on crowd behavior. So those birds that you see in the sky sometimes where they're these huge flocks and they seem to be randomly flying around, but they're always in a group, and the pattern is a little, it seems, I don't know, it's something in between chaos and choreography. Apparently it's actually, it's a manifestation of crowd behavior, where one person does one thing and then everyone else kind of does the same thing, but somewhere along the line, as the movement kind of moves through, you reinterpret it differently, so that by the time it gets over here, it's something different, and then everyone, that waves back and forth. So it was a really cool research paper. Okay. The title is, Where Have All the Safety Docents Gone? SIR prepares to send a cohort of subjects onto cameras. Individuals, as groups, obstacles, crossed with other groups, marked, veer over and over. Beneath the portraits, they dodged arrangements of each other, parading in patterns of swarm. Madam meant to perturb the pedestrian model, how people, a single person, walks to goals, avoids, intercepts, targets, follows, marches, and generally robots about, much like a flock or a school. The nearer two walkers are to each other, the greater their influence on each other. That influence drops off with distance, like a magnetic field. So as a crowd gets closer, crowds closer, gets packed together closer, gets pushed inward, clusters and jams, ganging and mobbing, huddling, chalk bunching. So as a crowd gets packed closer together, its behavior may become more coherent and organized, against which we pose questions, answers, eddies, data. What do faces record when head-on, for example? Thank you. Okay, here's the last one. This one came, the idea is old, but the writing is new. It's sort of a strange, anachronistic thing that happens in writing. But when NASA shut down, that was like last year or something, right? I had this, I didn't hear the entire story. Someone had just said to me, hey, did you hear that NASA shut down? And I thought, what? I mean, well, what are all those astronauts going to do? Because what an incredibly specialized skill. Like, we're trained to fly into space, and now it's not like you go to the other company that flies into space. So it seems sad in some way. So that's where that came from. Of course, that's not really what happened. And apparently there are other companies who fly into space. So, the romantic poet. Sad astronauts. That was a great laugh. It doesn't matter if this is the beginning, middle, or the end. Because if the wind has no idea that we're stealing her electricity, then why should we care about time, about national debt? Explain China. Explain giving our trash away for free, then buying it back. Explain how we've turned the wind into something we can see and sell. Explain why the soil under your feet can't be, instead of clay or something organic, asphalt or tarmac. I rode a car out here, not a horse, but none of my wheels ever left the ground, not for 1 minute. Between you and me, I'm not from here. I'm never from where I am. It seems I can only tell that I'm about to leave an area of state forest or maggot quarantine. When I entered it is questionable. There are a lot of sad astronauts looking for some other place to fly to, someone to tell them where to go, that it's okay to go there. Is it about getting there first? About being the first to put your flag up the moon's nose? They say the animals in the DMZ naturally avoid the landmines. They stink, obviously, of people. Perhaps someday we will rise in the west, find ourselves inexplicably reversed before dawn, dawn, dawn. With a poor sense of direction, one may never find the way back to one's old haunts. The compromise is to take the ghosts with one. Before you, or whoever you have come here today as, you were part of a tribe. You were an edible plant. You were locomotive. All your wheels touched down at all times. Let me clarify. You were everything you put into the satellite of your mouth.